Good morning. Hi, I'm Reva with Quality Sewing, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. Today in our How Do I, we're going to talk about getting organized to do those embroidery projects. Now remember, if you have any questions, just type them into the comment box and we will try to address your questions. So let's talk about our embroidery designs. Now you have embroidery designs that are built into your machine, right? And I have to wait for it to wake up. Isn't that good? It says wait a while, but it has a smiley face, so it's all good. Okay, so you have designs that are built into your machine, and here, let's just pull one up. We'll just pull this one up. And when you say set, it gives you the list of all the colors that are involved in this design. And if you scroll down, you can see them all at one time. If you have a machine different than this one, you can do the same thing. Sometimes you go into the edit screen or other places. So here's where you're going to find the list of colors that are used. Now take a look. When I go over into embroidery, it will show me each step that has, this is what's going to stitch first, and if I move to the next one, if I go down to the next one, it shows me the next one, and it will show me the color name. Now, up at the top, you also have things like the total stitch count in the whole design, the size of the design, how many color changes there are, and since I advanced one, I'm on number 2 out of 16 color changes. Now, just because I changed a color, I'm going to return back. Just because you have 16 color changes does not mean that you're not going to reuse the same color. So like Irish green is there, Irish green is there, deep gray is there, deep gray is there. So you're going to have repeats of the similar colors. So you may only have 10 spools of thread, not 16. So that's just something to bear in mind. Then also, this particular machine is set up to say the name of the color. Now, the most important thing I want to tell you when you're working with colors, that you're working with a machine or you're working with an embroidery collection like say OESD or Anita Good or someplace like that. If it gives you a specific color, you don't necessarily have to use that specific color. That's your choice. Now, one thing I will say that's a good idea to use the exact colors is if you're doing something like an OESD tile scene like Enchanted Santa or something like that that looks like a painting. In order to get those same colors or have that same result, it's good to use those colors of thread, and those will be isocord that it suggests. Every company has similar colors, but they don't always translate. Another instance where you're going to want to use the exact colors that you are told to use is if you're doing a photo stitch. So if you've created a photo from PE Design or Palette and it tells you use this color or this color, use those colors, because if you don't, it could give a very unpleasant result. And after all that stitching and all that work, you don't want to be disappointed in the results. Okay, so let's take a look at a different, I'm going to actually, let's go home. I'm going to go back and grab a whole different pattern. I'm going to go into embroidery, and I'm going to go into the new designs. These are the large split designs that are on the XP3 here, and I'm going to bring up this design. And in this design, this is just part of the design because there's 3 different sections. So this one doesn't really have all the colors. So I'm going to go to the second section, and that looks like it has just about every color in it. And I'm going to say set. And then we can look at the color list from here. Okay. So you can go through and you can choose the colors for your design based on what you see here. Or what I have done before, let me go ahead and open it up, is I will take a picture with my phone. I'll just take a picture of the colors. So like there's one, and electric blue is the last color. Oops. Okay, I didn't want you to do that. I had electric blue as the last one that showed. So I'm going to bring electric blue to the top. I'll take another picture, and then we'll go to ginger jar up at the top. and take another picture, and so on. And then that way, when I go and I'm looking at my thread, because I don't know about you, but my thread and my machine are near each other, but they're not in the exact spot. That way I can go through and I can pull up the picture and refer to the pictures. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do. Now, with built-in designs in your machine, you can also use the catalog or the reference for the embroidery designs that you can get online. So, for example, I went to the Brother website and I pulled down the reference material for the embroidery design collection, and from that I was able to print off this section, and it actually, I did crop it and enlarge it because I'll show you that in a minute, but I did take the page, I printed the page, but I put it onto my iPad. So there's the actual list. So from here, you can make notes and you can see all the colors that are used in this specific design, all three portions. There's portion 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now, what I want you to notice, and we'll just use this for an example, is that when you're, I'm going to zoom in so hopefully you can see, there's actually not as many colors as you might think. This has a lot of thread changes and there are a lot of colors, 37 including that red. That red is a placement guide. But there's, so 36 colors, but if you look at it, there are 3 greens, 3 browns, 3 yellows, 3 blues, there are 4 pinks, and then there are 4 grays. So there's only a few color families. So if you want to match the colors exactly, you can do that, or you can go to your thread and you can find 3 greens, a light, a medium, and dark. 3 browns, a light, a medium, and a darker one. So does that make sense? It's okay to pull the colors that you want to use. So I did do that, and I have this big conglomerate of threads. So this is really all the threads that are used in that design. And you'll see the design is stitched out up here, and it's really quite lovely. And it's a big design, but it doesn't use actually a lot of thread in length, just has a lot of spools. So if you're doing a design and it's a small design, you might line your threads up in front of you, right, in order, okay, and that will work. But if you're working with something that's this large and you're having to refer back to the light, medium, and dark pink, the light, medium, and dark green often, then you might like something like the Snappy Stacker from OESD. This is a pretty cool little guide. You can put your tools and accessories in it, but you can also take and put light and medium, and where's my brown? I know he's in here somewhere, my dark brown. Then I can take my blues, the light, the medium, and the dark blue, and you can get them set into color order, so that way you can set them on your table beside you and they're always in the right order. In fact, you know, you might have one go down, one go up, whichever way you want to do it. But it just gives you the ability to keep them organized, so that way you can always go back and find the colors that you need. So there we go, and I've got all the colors for the design right here. The only ones that I have that are odd man out are the grays, and I can just put that in the next tray and then use that for my bobbins and the rest of the space for the needles, the bobbins, and everything like that. So this gives us a nice clean way. So I don't know about you, but I'm not going to accidentally then spill all the spools unless I really push hard and get that off of the ledge there. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do, if I'm being very specific on the colors, so like on my pinks here, if I have my pinks, there's 4 pinks, right? And my first one is number PF 100. I'll come in, and if I have this on paper, I'll just write PF 100. And then the next one is 102. The next one is 103. Well, that's handy, isn't it? And the next one was 1703. So that way, if there's any question at all, I can refer back to what color they called it and what I'm using. Okay, so you can do that on your paper patterns as well. So like I said, I printed this one up and I could very easily just make my notes right here with a ballpoint pen. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to show you, and if you have any questions, just let us know. Okay, so here's another one that I printed off, and this is an applique pattern. So it has a little bit of a different thing. It only has what, 1, 2, 3 colors that I see. Here there's the four. There's the gold, the burgundy, the black, and the orange. So there's only 4 colors, but you're going to notice that this has 10 color changes, 11 color changes for just a 4-color design. The reason why is because it's an applique design. An applique design will have areas that are going to stitch that show you where to place fabric, and then it will tack the fabric into place and so on. So those ones you can use a color that either blends with the fabric you're going to use for the applique, or maybe it blends with your background. So you can leave the same color in for the entire process of your applique until you start stitching something that's actual. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does. So, but make your life easy and just use a thread color that you can see, but that's not so bright that it's going to show in the end. For example, I wouldn't use a hot fuchsia pink if the stitches that are going to cover it are going to be white, because that pink would show through. So use something that's not going to show. So it might blend in with the fabric or the background of your material. Okay. Now, other things that you're going to want to make sure that you have on hand when you're getting yourself ready is make sure you have a new needle in your machine. You're doing embroidery, make sure you're using an embroidery needle. If you have thread that's persnickety, you might want to use the ultimate thread dispenser or an external spool stand or something like that. That's going to help those persnickety threads behave a little bit better. And then you're going to want to make sure that you have the colors you need. Now, it may take you a minute or two to organize all your threads and get them ready, but once you do, then the whole project will go a lot more smoothly and a lot quicker. So spend some time, figure out if you want to actually match the very colors that it suggests, or if you're going to choose from your own thread library and pick those colors of thread that you want. Because maybe you don't want a pale pink flower, maybe you want more of a vivid, rich, darker color, or maybe you want lavender. So you can totally substitute colors. Just know anytime the machine says pink, that you're going to go ahead and put in your lavender or whatever color you've decided. Okay, are there any questions?
Yeah, so Sandy's asking, when would you use color sort? Sometimes the pattern will state not to color sort.
Okay, that is an excellent question. So on some machines you have the ability to color sort, and otherwise you can a lot of times do that in software with a touch of a button, or you can do it manually. You use color sort if there's a repeat of colors, and I'll show you. If you have a repeat of colors that do not overlap. So let's go into here, and where is my little bug? I think there's a little, oh, where is he? I think he's in here. So I'll just grab, well, I don't remember where he went. I'll just go back and get that little flower. Okay, let's get this little rosebud there. See my little rosebud? He's these colors right here. So if I want to edit and I want to duplicate him, I'm going to touch duplicate, and I'll do that so now I have 4 of them. Okay, so this is a perfect instance, because if we go to embroidery, notice it's going to repeat the same colors. Green, begonia, green, begonia. Okay, so what I want to do is sort those colors. And when we sort those colors, then we've got red, coral, begonia, alpine green, harvest green. So it put all the colors together. Okay, now let's go in and turn the color sort off, and that should put him back that way. If I have him, and I got to return, if you have these and they overlap at all, This is an instance where you would not want to use color sort, because if you did, then the order would be changed, and see, it doesn't even let me do it. It's because the color order would change, and then it would destroy the way that the design is stitched out. So I had a design a long time ago, and my color sort on my software would not let me sort the colors. And it was really cute. It was a Lorelei design, and it was a teacher. It was just really darling, and I was getting it ready for So Fun. And so I thought, well, I'm smarter. I don't know why the computer's not letting me do it, and I'm smarter than that computer. So I spent hours sorting it so all the colors were together. I stitched it out. It was horrible. The grain of the wood grain of the desk was underneath the planks. It just was a total mess. So I wasted so much time. The software or the machine knows when and you should and should not sort the colors. So unfortunately, if you have a design that one design that repeats the same color like our big flower did, there's a reason for that, and you really shouldn't mess with it. Okay, so I hope that answers that question, Sandy. But that was a really excellent question. So, and a lot of times if you have software, it's called IntelliSort, and it will not allow things that are overlapping to be sorted. So, okay. So I hope that you are going to have a good time with your designs. And remember, the offset are right on at the very beginning. That's where it takes the most time, is getting yourself organized. And I stitched this design out several times. I think I did 3 or 4 of this design. And it was really easy to keep myself on track, because when I saw that it came to yellow, I knew I went to my yellow. And also, you'll notice that it seems to repeat very similarly. When it starts with a light yellow, then medium and dark follow. Light blue, medium and dark. So this particular one was really easy. When it came time to do pink, I knew I was going to do all my pinks. When it's time to do blue, I knew it was time for all my blues. So having them grouped together was really a fantastic time saver in the production of the embroidery piece. So I hope that helps. Remember, a good needle when you first start your design, a new one, is the best thing that you can do. And then have all your tools ready. Have your scissors, have extra bobbins ready to go, have them already filled and waiting for you, so you don't have to stop midstream. So if you have any questions, continue to pop them in there, and then we'll get back to those later, and we'll respond to the comments and get you the information that you need. And we'll see you next Tuesday.